Hey everybody, what's up? Lex here, and today I wanted to talk about my first impressions of MLB 18 The Show. I have my MVP edition right here, the steel book. There you see it. Let me open the case here. I didn't do an unboxing of this, so I guess I should just do this here and now. See Aaron Judge in there, and you got the code for whatever, the stubs and the packs and all that good stuff. I'll just put this off to the side. I've been playing MLB 18 The Show all weekend. I've put about 26 hours into the game, and I wanted to give my first impressions on the game. I didn't want to give my review of the game yet because, number one, 26 hours of the sports game is kind of not enough, and number two, the game isn't officially out yet, so I don't feel it's right to give a full review when they still have the launch day patch, I guess, coming out. And another thing is, I haven't even played franchise yet, and you guys that subscribe to my channel probably know that I'm a franchise guy. That is my main mode, and without playing the main mode, for me at least, I don't feel like I can assess the game all the way through yet. Another thing is, I've played Road to the Show, but I've only played a couple hours of it. Really, most of my time has been spent in Diamond Dynasty, and I want to talk about that in just a little bit because I'm not really into card modes, but I'll tell you what, Diamond Dynasty has me hooked for some reason. So real quick, I do want to talk about Road to the Show and kind of give my thoughts on it. To me, it's more of the same. It's really largely the same as last year from what I played. You have your little documentary cutscenes going on. You have a few choices that you can make. The big new thing about Road to the Show is the progression system. Now, this was kind of controversial when it was announced because the progression system is it's not the training points of yesteryear where you put them into whatever category you want to, sort of like Madden does with XP. You can just put it into whatever category you want to and take your success on the field, and if you had a game where you were 4 for 4 at the plate, you can take that success and put it into your speed, which doesn't really directly relate to it, so it didn't really make any sense, but people love to do it. Instead, now, what you do on the field really reflects what your ratings are. So if you have a bad day at the plate, those ratings are going to get worse. And if you have a good day at the plate, those ratings are going to get better. It's really simple, but it is constricting. You can also train on your off days. You can either train to raise your cap for certain attributes, or you can train to improve attributes. You have that choice there, and it creates a nice balance of having to worry about, oh, if I keep training in this attribute, but my cap is here, I'm wasting time. I'm not going to get any better unless I raise that cap. And the way you raise the cap is by training with other veteran players who are more experienced than you. You actually learn stuff from them, raising your level cap. So that's pretty much it for Road to the Show. Again, I haven't played much. I was drafted first by the Blue Jays. I didn't want to play for the Blue Jays, so I stayed in college for another year, and then I was drafted by the Royals, and I decided to stick that through and just hang with that team, and that's where I am right now. I've played maybe, I don't know, 9 games, maybe 6-9 games. I haven't played a whole lot, but I did want to give my thoughts on Road to the Show. It's very similar, just with a different progression system. That does make things very different, but everything else in the show and Road to the Show is very similar from what I've played so far. Okay, so let's talk about the mode that I did spend a lot of time in, and that's Diamond Dynasty. Me, in a card collecting mode. I'm shocked, but yeah, I decided this year I was going to learn how to play Diamond Dynasty. I was going to at least give it a real good effort to try to get into it like I have with Ultimate Team and Madden before, and I gotta say, I love Diamond Dynasty. So Diamond Dynasty really consists of a couple different ways to play. You can play online, where you can play their Battle Royale, which is like their Draft Champions mode, or you can play Ranked Seasons, or you can just play people online. I haven't done any online yet. I don't have PlayStation Plus, so I haven't played anything online. I have played completely single-player stuff, and I gotta say, the single-player stuff in Diamond Dynasty is so much more compelling than it is in Madden Ultimate Team. Firstly, you can just play the CPU as another MLB team. Like, you can play your Diamond Dynasty team against the Marlins or against the Dodgers or the A's or whoever. You can just play them and try to gain stats to put into programs to get better cards. Another way you can play against the CPU is you can actually pick a team from another user, their Diamond Dynasty team, and the CPU will play as them so that you can play, just kind of, I guess, practice instead of going straight into the online modes, just to kind of see what other people are doing with their teams and what kind of cards they're getting. It's really, really cool. But the main mode that I've been playing in Diamond Dynasty is Conquest mode. Now, Conquest mode is like a game of Civilization. That's the best way I can describe it because I know Civilization. Basically, you have a bunch of different strongholds from all the individual teams, and you move across the map trying to take over territory and trying to take over strongholds. The more strongholds you get, the more fans you get to disperse across the map. It's actually, at first was a little daunting, but since I've really gotten the hang of it, I've taken over half the map, and I'm about halfway through the mode now. And it's been a lot of fun just to kind of zoom through it and really see the strategic side of not wasting your time in Conquest mode and playing only the stronghold games, and using your team to beat these other teams. It's very satisfying once you put a team together and that team can pull it out and take over a stronghold, and you keep marching across the map and you're playing new teams. And you are unlocking rewards as you do all this, and you're getting new cards, and these new cards, even though they're not the strongest cards, you need to get certain things done with them to unlock more rewards. So you're playing, for instance, I have a Sean Doolittle gold card, a closing pitcher. Normally he'd be my closing pitcher, but there is a Lee Smith program that I'm trying to do right now, and so he gets the call for the close every single time to try to get those saves. I need 10 saves with him. I think I have like 5 or 6 saves with him right now, and once I get those done, I can put that into his program. I can unlock rewards, which could be stubs or experience, towards, you know, unlocking more in the program. And as you go further and further down the line, you'll unlock higher ranked cards, different souvenirs that you can put into other programs. They're all connected. It's a big web, and it's actually pretty intimidating, to be honest with you. But once you start to understand and learn the programs, it's a lot of fun just trying to get everything done. And real quick, I want to talk about some of the cards that I've gotten. Playing with the Babe Ruth, hitting home runs with Babe Ruth. It's surreal. And the strategy that goes in with that, because he's only a 68 bronze card, but I put him in at pinch hitter and bring him up for power situations. He is effective. It's strategic. There's actual strategy going on in this mode, and it's a lot of fun to play. You know, other cards that I have that I love using, Ken Griffey Jr. Was one of my favorite players growing up. Of course, my first Super Nintendo game was Ken Griffey Jr.'s Baseball. You know, just kind of going back to these older players and playing them in a fantasy mode that really makes sense. And again, this is nothing new. It's just something that I am experiencing for the first time myself, and enjoying for the first time. Unfortunately, there is something that I don't like about Diamond Dynasty, and it is the fact that it has to be connected to the servers at all time. So if the servers are down, you are not playing this mode. In fact, really, one of the main reasons I'm recording this video right now is because the servers are actually down, because people were losing their rewards, their stubs, their cards, everything. Not everybody was. I don't think I have, but people were, and they are trying to fix that right now. They said they've narrowed down the problem and all that, but who knows when it's going to be back up online. And really, if you're not going to do that and you're not going to play franchise mode because you're waiting for those Operation Sports rosters, and because apparently there's a glitch in franchise mode right now where it won't let you sign free agents at a certain point in time, Road to the Show and Play Now are really the only things that you're going to play in this game right now, and I'm really not compelled to play those. I want to get back into Diamond Dynasty. So that kind of calls to a bigger problem with MLB The Show, is that they said they took away online franchise because they rewrote, they completely redid their network code and all that. And a lot of people were thinking that they weren't going to have problems because they focus so much on their net code. Well, that's not necessarily going to be the case. There are going to be issues. They reworked everything supposedly so they can fix everything at a much faster pace, and we'll see how that goes. If they can fix this in a timely manner, then I guess it worked. But if we have server issues that are continuous and constant, that's going to be an issue, because fans are going to say, you took this mode out that we like to play for reasons, and those reasons aren't coming true, so what is going on here? Now, don't get me wrong, online franchise being taken out doesn't affect me. I'm an offline franchise guy, but I do feel for those people who did like online franchise, and that was the main way they played. All of a sudden it's taken out, and also they've taken out seasons mode for those people who really wanted to customize their season format and liked to and preferred to play it that way. So really, there's a lot of controversy coming out of this, and sometimes I think maybe it's a little overblown, and sometimes I think maybe it's not overblown enough for some certain things. But that's just, I guess, the way it is. I guess because money isn't quite involved the way NBA 2K18's was, people are kind of, you know, not harping on it. But if this continues, it's going to be a big problem for this game. Alright, so real quickly, let's talk about gameplay. And I say real quickly because I feel like, again, it's more of the same from MLB The Show. There are some things that are kind of worrying me, though. First and foremost, I want to say that MLB The Show is very much a settings kind of game. And what I mean by that is that it really depends on what settings you like to play with, because different settings will change your performance in this game. So if you are having a hard time batting, change your batting view. That's exactly what I did. First off, I don't like the fisheye camera view, so I changed it to catcher high, which I'm trying to replicate more of what I was playing with on MLB 15, something I got really used to in that game. But I was having a hard time hitting. I couldn't get a hit, and the only time I got a hit was a home run, so it made no sense to me whatsoever. I changed the camera to MLB 15 The Show, and I am hitting better now. I'm not hitting lights out, like unfair type of levels. I play on all-star difficulty, but I definitely notice a difference now, and I can see the pitches a lot better from the new camera that I put in. Breaking pitches, off-speed pitches, really do seem slower this year. Like they seem really slow, which to me is not really a problem, but some people have complained about that, so be wary of that, I suppose. Fielding is an issue. It really seems like no matter who the fielder is, they're playing balls haphazardly. They're just kind of, you'll run after the spot, they'll get there, and then they'll just like suddenly raise their glove and try to catch it, and it almost gives me a heart attack every single time. And sometimes they don't catch it, and I'm okay with errors and them not catching it and everything, but there are times when the fielders just don't even try. Like they don't even bend down to try to scoop it up. You just run right past it, and it's a widespread issue, and some of it should still be in the game. Human error should be a part of all these simulation games, but at the same time, there is a fine line you have to walk when you look at human error and just obviously the system is trying to make it so that you don't pick up the ball, or they want to try to catch back up. It's a frustrating moment when your fielder doesn't even bend down to pick up the ball. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but players will just stop on the base pass right in the middle, and will wait for you to tell them to go forward. But not all the time. Sometimes it's automatic, and sometimes it's not. I say 90% of the time, base running is fine, but 10% of the time, they will stop on the base pass for no reason at all. Or at least it seems to me like there's no reason at all, like they didn't need to stop, and it will cost you a run, or an out, or a double play even. And it's so frustrating And normally I would just turn this on to CPU for base running, but you can't do that in Diamond Dynasty. You have to pick from classic or default, and I've tried both, and I'm telling you, it's frustrating the hell out of me. So I want to kind of wrap this video up by saying that I like MLB 18 The Show. I think it is a solid baseball game. I think it replicates the sport of baseball very well, especially on broadcast. If you just set it to CPU versus CPU and just watch the game, it's incredible. Like, I have 2 monitors here on my computer, and I have my PS4 hooked up to one, and I'll just set on a CPU game while I do some work, and it looks like I'm actually watching a real baseball game. I know that's the most overused cliche when describing a sports game, but honestly, it is the truth. However, I cannot recommend it in its current state. There are things that need to be fixed, and I haven't even played franchise mode yet to see how that is. And you know, I put a lot of stock into a game's franchise mode. So currently I can't recommend it because of the server issues and because of some of the gameplay issues. Once those are fixed, I think I can recommend the game. And I'll have my full review at some point in time. But right now, just kind of hang back and wait. If you haven't picked up the game yet, hang back and wait and see how those servers react, and see how long they take to fix them, and see what they do with the gameplay, because there are very big issues at this point in time. Now, that's not to say you cannot have fun with this game in its current state, because you can. When the servers are working, Diamond Dynasty is a blast to play. I'm loving it. But really, you just don't need to pick it up right now. Unless you're a diehard baseball fan who's super excited for the regular season, there's just not enough here right now for me to recommend this. But soon there will be. It's not a bad game. I'm not trying to say that right now at all. I'm just saying there are problems with this game that need to be addressed before I can recommend you going out and purchasing it if you haven't already. But that's going to do it for this first impressions of MLB 18 The Show. If you picked up the game, let me know what you think. Are you having any of the problems that I talked about? Are you liking Diamond Dynasty? Have you gotten into franchise mode yet? Because I haven't even touched it, and I'm eager to see how that's all going. And soon I will get into that, and I will have a franchise series on this channel going through my franchise. It's going to be called Franchise Fix, so look out for that when it eventually happens. Anyway, until next time, this is Lex signing off.